the interesting thing about Jack as a player is he's got such an attack, a sort of concussion to his attack that his guitars are loud. Yeah. And I'm talking even if he's using an acoustic guitar. I mean, most of the electrics done on that record there's some telly, there's a lot of Gretsch, but definitely, in fact, he may have even used that telly that you have that was Scotty Moore's.
That 55.
Yeah. They might have used that. It was always through one or two vintage twin reverb amps, and I think we actually blew one of them up. It was a 70s one and maybe a 60s one as well. Yeah. But we had two twins, and then he also had a big Silvertone, the 1485, which is basically the old Silvertone bass cabinet. So that's kind of how he got the low end from the guitar. But really the growl, the attack, the sound was that Fender Twin. And I remember that, twins are loud amps.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, one or two on the, and that's enough. Loud.
Yeah.
So we had it in that piano ISO booth in D, and Lowell or I could never go in there when Jack was playing. We'd have to wear shotgun protectors because it was so loud. And I'm talking, the Fender Twin on 1.5, that combined with the way Jack
his input
played, it was just crazy loud. And I do think we went through maybe a half a dozen Coles 4038s, and then we switched to AEA R84s. Is that what the ribbon is?
Yeah, that's one of them. Yeah.
And I think we blew up some of those too.
Oh,
And yeah, I don't want to know what you're.
Why are we blowing up all these
exactly?
No, I'm kidding. Hey, it was worth it, man. I'll tell you that. Hearing Icky Thump and the songs, I would never jump to the conclusion that was a Fender Twin. It's huge, that sound. And I love Fender, I mean, we have a 59 Tweed Deluxe that is Buddy Guy, every record he does, and he's done a lot here.
Yes.
He grabs that amp for sure.
Basically, I would have had a stereo guitar sound, which would have been probably 3 mics on the Fender Twin, and then maybe 2 mics on the Silvertone, and that was the main guitar sound for most of the electric part of the record. And then if we double it, we just maybe use the Twin, or if we used both amps, I would just blend in a little bit of the Silvertone, and because of course it had to be printed together on one track because I only had 16 tracks. So if I had 6 tracks of drums and then a stereo guitar, there's 8, and I'm sure we double tracked the main rhythm of the main lick of the guitar of the song. And then there's the solo, background vocals, the 2 lead vocals that play off each other, and that's it. And 16 tracks. And of course, you had to leave 1 track for SMPTE code if you were using automation. So you really only had 15 tracks. So there was never more than 15 tracks on that entire album.
That's amazing. Oh, and a Vibrolux. We've got a couple of great Vibroluxes. So those amps also blow my mind.
Yeah.
But the 59 Tweed could be my favorite, man. Oh. It's just a single 12, And
yeah.
It's loud.
That era, everything obviously through 65, 67 is just stunning.
Yes.
And although I will say, I have a reissue 65 that Bob Dixon, who's my amp guy in LA, went through, tweaked a couple of things. It sounds pretty great.
Yeah.
But as in anything, it sounds wonderful, but then you put up the real deal next to it and you're like, oh,
you forget.
I see what I'm missing. It's like picking up that 55 telly. You're like, really? Is this what this is supposed to sound like?